Today is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023.
For lunch today, we will have chicken fajitas, celery, carrots, fruit, and milk.
For breakfast tomorrow, we will have assorted muffins, string cheese, fruit, juice, and milk.
We will have spring pictures on Wednesday, March 15th.
This week is National School Breakfast Week.
What are 6 reasons why breakfast is important? Energy. The body's energy source is glucose. Essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Breakfast helps you control your weight. Breakfast boosts brain power. A healthy breakfast may reduce the risk of illness. Breakfast helps you make better food choices.
Have you seen this guy around school?
If so, don't touch him. See where he is next.
Spring break is coming up. We will be out March 17th through the 26th.
Hi. Some days are not going to be all rainbows and sunshine, and that's okay. Some days need to have rain. How else are all the plants going to get water?
It's time for Habit Heroes. From Mrs. Bowles' class, Todd Threlkeld. Habit 1, be proactive. Todd has been working hard in the classroom. He is making sure that he is in charge of himself and ready to go, and has been helpful to others. Keep up the great work, Todd. From Mrs. Shannon's class, Spencer Portier. Habit 1, be proactive. Spencer has been working very hard every day to be in charge of himself. He does his best at his work, is a great friend, and always has a smile on his face. From Mrs. Hanson's class, Blake Engel. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Blake uses her eyes and ears when listening to her classmates and the teacher. She does not interrupt when others are sharing their ideas and feelings. Blake sets a great example of Habit 5 for all of us to learn from. From Mrs. Wade's class, Ryder Poor. Habit 4, think win-win. Ryder is kind and thinks of others. He is able to cooperate and work well with his peers. Ryder is a good friend. From Mrs. Lawson's class, Hendrix Shannon. Habit 6, synergize. Hendrix is so good at working with other people. He listens and knows what needs to be done. Hendrix helps students and Mrs. Lawson complete the task at hand. He is calm, patient, and does everything with a smile. From Mrs. Tidwell's class, Tanner Early. Habit 3, put first things first. Tanner has been working really hard, especially in math. He knows that if he does his best and participates, he can spend more time doing fun things that he enjoys. From Mrs. Conley's class, Brady Patton. Habit 1, be proactive. Brady always puts his best foot forward. He has worked hard this year and it is really showing. He also has a good attitude and encourages others. From Mrs. Barger's class, Axel Ireland. Habit 3, put first things first. Axel spends time on the most important things. He works hard and always tries to do his best. Great job, Axel. From Mrs. Mathis's class, Ezekiel Diaz. Habit 1, be proactive. Ezekiel was chosen as this month's habit hero by his classmates. Many friends thought Ezekiel is always doing what he's supposed to do without complaining, works proactively, and he knows how to be a helpful friend. Way to go, Ezekiel. From Mrs. Early's class, Jameson Bryan. Habit 3, put first things first. Jameson has been working really hard to keep things organized and stay on task. He puts his work first so that he is able to spend his extra time doing things he enjoys. From Mrs. Crane's class, Jensen Johnson. Habit 4, think win-win. Jensen is considerate of other people. When conflicts arise, Jensen looks for a solution that will work best for all. From Mrs. Musil's class, Zoe Blystone. Habit 3, put first things first. Zoe represents all habits. She really puts her schoolwork first and knows when to be on task and when to have fun and socialize. From Mrs. Weiss, Luke King. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Luke spent his entire reward recess teaching another student how to kick a ball. Luke enjoys spending time with his friends. Luke works hard so he can play hard. From Mrs. Simpson's class, Colt Martin. Habit 6, Synergize. Colt does an amazing job of including others in class and in other areas at school. He is patient and kind when working with his peers. Colt shows great leadership here at TRES. From Mrs. Martin's class, Alyssa Harshman. Habit 4, Think Win-Win. Alyssa is always thinking of others. She is so helpful and kind. She wants to help all the time and is always asking what she can do to make things easier for Mrs. Martin and those around her. She has a big heart. From Mrs. Powell's class, Wyatt Goings. Habit 4, Think Win-Win. Wyatt does a great job making sure everyone can win. If there's a problem, he is the first one to come up with different solutions. From Miss Tori's class, Oliver Jackson. Habit 1, Be Proactive. Oliver has been working very hard at following the routine and becoming more independent in the classroom.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for the moment of silence.